2-week loan deal. I think that maybe might get extended to 8 weeks based on the Hakim Maludi story.
Newcastle Thunder have announced the departure of Sam Hallas in order to pursue opportunities away from the game. Hallas, who's 25, joined the club from Bradford on a 2-year deal ahead of the 2022 campaign, and he started all but one of Newcastle's games this season.
Yeah, it's a gap for them to fill.
It is.
Barrow, centre Hakim Maludi has been given an 8-game ban after being charged for multiple offences by the RFL. Also got a £250 fine. He was sent off during the Raiders' defeat for Batley last weekend. He appeared to make a tackle off the ball, then subsequently tried to lift the player off the floor as he stayed down late in the first half. Separately, so that tribunal has been heard and done, and 8 games is the verdict. Separately, though, Barrow have submitted a complaint to the RFL on behalf of Hakim Maludi and captain Jared Stack. They've alleged that unacceptable language was directed at Maludi during the match and again after the incident that saw him sent off. Stack was sin-binned in the match. The allegations will be investigated by the RFL's compliance department. So that hasn't been resolved yet by the tribunal because that's been sort of passed on for more investigation there, but potentially serious. We've seen some potentially serious, unacceptable language used in the NRL this week, haven't we? But that only got a 4-game ban, so we'll see what happens, what the outcome of this is.
Yes, and Whitehaven announced the signing of forward Jack Bibbett from Wigan on an initial 2-week loan as well.
No relation to Jake, I understand. It was round 3 of League One. London Scholars 6, North Wales the Entertainers 54, Cornwall 14, Midlands 60 in the R-League game. Yeah,
I saw a little bit of this. Kind of very similar to Cornwall's first match. They were 14-0 down at half-time, which tells you everything you need to know. Defensively still a mess, let's be brutally honest. The only positive is that they are scoring some points, which is not something that West Wales can claim at the moment.
I think I've missed one of the news stories actually out that links to Cornwall, because they have signed a couple of Wigan juniors on loan, and one of them scored in that game. For them. Doncaster 22, Swinton 64 in what was billed by us as the game of the week, but Swinton are. If this is a sign of things to come, they should monster that division.
Yeah, Doncaster have had a bad start to the year. They got comprehensively beaten at Keighley the week before. But Swinton do look like the class of the division. I think that's unmistakable.
Oldham 100, West Wales 4. A lot of sort of self-reflection going on at West Wales after that defeat. Rochdale 44, Hunslet 20 as well. So plenty of points in League One.
I think I saw a stat that said no game had fewer than 60 points in it this week. which is mental, really. In terms of news from League One, so Cornwall have signed a dual registration partnership with Bradford for this year.
Yep. Wigan trio Ben O'Keefe, Logan Astley and Tom Forber have made short-term loan moves to League One clubs. O'Keefe, who's 19, joins Rochdale on an initial 2-week deal. Forber and Astley, both 18, have made the move to Oldham on a 2-week loan deal. I think Logan Astley scored a couple of tries in their big win over West Wales, actually. Another note on Oldham, they've signed Billy Yarrow from Dewsbury Celtic.
Oldham coach, Irish rugby league legend Stuart Littler has been relieved of his position as the nation's head coach. Littler ends his 4-year tenure with a 60% win ratio following 5 games in charge. Ireland have appointed Jade Corcoran as their new men's head coach to replace Littler. Corcoran, 39, becomes the first Irish-born head coach of the Ireland side, having been born and bred in County Offaly. He won 11 caps during his playing days, featuring in the 2008 World Cup. He was a long-serving RLI servant, was assistant coach of the Ireland side at the 2013 and 2017 World Cups.
So that means he would have worked with Littler alongside him as an co-assistant back in 2017 then, I guess.
But I guess he would.
Yeah. Change of direction. Interesting that they've made a change of direction within the World Cup year with no games, as far as I'm aware. I think Wales and France have got a game plan now, haven't they, for the international weekend when England play the Combies, but I haven't heard anything about Ireland getting any games sorted. It's a strange call, bold call, or irrelevant call.
Maybe it's a sign of dissatisfaction with how things like that were going. So I don't know. We'll find out if it bears any fruit, won't we?
Yeah, I don't have anything against the appointment. I do like Stuart Littler as a coach. I think he's decent. But there we go.
Yep.
NRL round 5. Knights 6, Sea Eagles 30, Warriors 25, Cowboys 24, Broncos 20, Roosters 24, Raiders 16, Storm 30, Rabbitohs 24, Dragons 12, Titans 20, Eels 26, Sharks 30, West Tigers 4, Bulldogs 12, and Panthers 32. So, other than one game there, pretty much all quite close. Very different to what we just talked about. Well, 2 games, I suppose, but different to what we talked about in League One.
Yeah, just a tad. Panthers stay top with a 100% start, 5 from 5. Sharks, Storm and Eels are on 8 points, making up the top 4. Then it goes Roosters, Seagulls and Warriors on 6 points. Cowboys in 8th lead a group of 6 on 4 points, joined by the Rabbitohs, Titans, Knights, Broncos and Raiders. Dragons and Bulldogs have 2, and West Tigers are still pointless.
Yes. Other games, and it gives us a chance to talk about the wheelchair game. There was a wheelchair friendly to talk about. Sean Orton at Bruiser664 got in touch about Sheffield Eagles 22, Wigan Warriors 62. He said, with a fortnight off in the league, Sheffield invited Wigan over for a friendly so that both sides could get a bit of game time for players that haven't featured much this season. Wigan got off to a good start, but Sheffield pulled back with April Brooks making her debut and becoming the first Eagles player to score 2 tries in a game. Jack Johnson pounced on a loose ball in the second half with scoring closed by Stephen Scott.
I'm going to assume Sean didn't get over the whitewash because he hasn't said anything.
Because I'm guessing they scored 4 tries and 3 conversions with yes. April, Jack and Scotty getting those...
I'm sure he would have mentioned it if he had.
Yeah. I'm not sure who scored all the points for Wigan, but they scored 62 of them. Yeah. Which is low for them this year, to be honest.
A modest 62.
Yeah. So well done to Sheffield.
So a bit more wheelchair news. So England Wheelchair have included 3 new faces in their performance squad for 2022 as they continue their countdown to the home World Cup this autumn. Billy Swanger becomes Hull FC's first ever representative in an England wheelchair squad. He's joined by Tom Martin of Halifax Panthers and Ashley Archer, who has impressed in the early appearances for the new London Roosters club in the Betfred Wheelchair Super League this season. So the England wheelchair performance squad is Tom Halliwell, Josh Butler, James Simpson and Nathan Collins from Leeds Rhinos, Billy Swanger from Hull FC, Tom Martin, Wayne Boardman, Robert Hawkins, Jack Brown, Nathan Mulhall from Halifax Panthers, Ashley Archer, Joe Coyd, Lewis King, Freya Leavitt from London Roosters, Lenny Izzard from Warrington Wolves, Adam Rigby, Declan Roberts, Martin Norris from Wigan, Sebastian Bishara from Catalan Dragons / Halifax Panthers.
I didn't know he was at Halifax as well until I read this. I thought that was interesting. But yeah. Do you know what? What's remarkable in the progression of the wheelchair game is that, sort of 50-60% of those names were not at all like new names to me.
Yeah. They are becoming household names, aren't they, I suppose, in many ways. But yeah, at the same time, we're still seeing kind of players coming through and players becoming established because they're playing more fixtures, I suppose.
Yeah.
Which as you say, makes a big difference. And as you say, the squad is kind of much more representative, isn't it? There's a broader kind of representation, which is positive.
It's good seeing some of the lower ranked teams like Hull FC and Warrington getting players in the squad.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
I agree.
Let's move on to a bumper round of guesses. Predictions time then, Alan. And it starts this week, 7:30 p.m. kickoff on Thursday night on the Sky game. But it is the historic first French derby. They don't want us to call it a derby for some reason because the cities aren't close to each other, but they're a fuckload closer to each other than they are to any other cities in the Super League teams or towns. So we'll go with the French derby. Actually, quite a list at Catalans would be out. Tompkins, Dudson, Lange and Vare, they're still out as well. Busquets obviously still out long term. That's not great for them. Joe Brevet and Andrew Dixon, Joseph Paulo and Dom Peru, though, are missing for Toulouse. That's basically their back row fucked. So, where do you think this one's going to go?
I can't see this going anywhere but Catalan, even with those absences. Catalan by 22.
I think Catalans, but I think it'll be close. I think it might be high scoring and close. Catalans by 4 is where I'm landing up on this one. 7:45 p.m. kickoff on Thursday. Wakefield versus Castleford. So let's just have a look at what changes there might be. So hypothetically, Johnston and Fafita might be back in for this one if they're right. So they're in the squad anyway. Cass has seen Jordan Turner and Brett Ferraimo drop out of their squad, but I think they've probably got that covered with Fanua, one of the options to come in there. And I'm not sure he'll play in the centres, but this is an interesting one. I do think Wakefield have been pretty good recently, haven't they? And if they get even one of those two, Johnston or Fafita, back in, I think they become a different side because they have like star quality to go alongside what Lino's doing really well. If Miller's out still, I think so. That's a problem. Gaskell wasn't awful though against Wigan. I mean, you can get him defensively, but he wasn't awful. His kicking game was decent. So I'm going to go Wakefield by 4 in this one. But it could go either way. I'm going with that on home advantage. Nothing else, to be honest.
Yeah, my logic is exactly the same. I'm going to go Wakey by a cheeky drop goal.
Good stuff. Not a disrespectful one then.
No, it won't be a 13-plus win.
Leeds versus Huddersfield. That's an 8 p.m. kickoff. So potentially Brad Dwyer and Zane Tetavano back from bans. Let's wait and see if either of them catch another one because they've been good at that this year. Alex Mellor and Bodine Thompson are back in contention too. Although no Caesar yet and no Miley yet, so that's still an issue in terms of creativity for the Rhinos. And Seb Ikahifo's out for Huddersfield. I don't know if that's maybe a rotation type thing with a couple of games coming up over Easter and maybe resting someone against the weaker opponents. McGilvery might be back. He's in the squad. So, and it looks like it's going to have to be Farge and Cogger still as the halves there, but they've gone pretty well in the last 2 weeks. I think Huddersfield are the better side out of these two sides, so I can't predict that they won't win. I'm going Huddersfield by 10.
Yeah. I have no doubt that Huddersfield are the better team. They're playing better. Leeds have had a couple of weeks to sort themselves out, but there's a big thing to sort out there. Huddersfield by 10.
Okay, 8 p.m. on Thursday also is Warrington versus Salford. Ratchford's back in and Ashton's back in for Warrington, although George Williams and Ollie Holmes are out. So that's interesting for them. I'm not sure what Salford's situation is, to be honest, because it's not on the Love Rugby League article that I was been scanning through for all of this. Shout out to Love Rugby League as always, doing great stuff. I'll let you go first on this one.
Oh, this is a nasty one. It's a difficult one to pick. It's easy to forget that Warrington were playing like dog shit. But I'm going to say that they've sorted themselves out in the week off. Warrington by 4.